So as you can see, I'm missing a connector, so let's just pretend this right here, or you can also see this line I've drawn in. This is where our pipe is going to be sitting. Let's pretend the connector's here. Our obstruction is this box right here. Some people are going to do this differently. The way I like to do it is I'm going to measure from where my conduit is going to be sitting, or like inserting. So we're going to go from the box in this case, or let's pretend that's a connector, to the center of the obstruction. In this case, it's a box. A lot of times you'll have sprinkler pipes, whatever the case may be. So from point A to the center, which let's say point B, let's say it's 29 inches. So we need that measurement right there. 29 is our center mark. That's step one. Saddle. So we've already went over from point A to the center of our box, which I've moved, but it was 29 inches. We've already determined that we're going to use a 22, 45, 22 bends for our 3-bend saddle. All of our additional math is going to be dependent on our outside bend degrees, right? So shrink. This shrink of 3/16 of an inch is fully set on 22 degrees. This shrink does not match the 45. The shrink for 45 is going to be different. But for 22 degree bends, your shrink, it's already a preset, never going to change to 3/16 of an inch. Your multiplier, which comes into play when we decide on our actual obstruction height or how high we want to bend our middle bend, the multiplier for 22 degrees is 2.6. So that's how we're going to get our 2 outside marks. So to get our center mark, we measure from point A to the center of our obstruction. We add our shrink. Our shrink was found by 3/16, which is a set amount. Multiply that by the height of our obstruction that we actually want our bend to be, which we said was 5 inches. I don't have that wrote in. 5 times 3/16, 15/16 of an inch. So our center mark, we're going to measure over, which we've already done, from the end of the conduit to 29 plus 15/16. So 29, 15/16, we've already done that. Show you again, pretty close to 30. To get our 2 outside marks, so our 2 outside bend marks for our 3-bend saddle, we are going to take the multiplier, which is coming from, once again, the outside of 2.6, which is a preset multiplier for 22 degrees, multiply that by the height of our middle bend, which is 5. If you take 2.6 times 5, I think it's 13 and 1/16. To be honest, I'm just going to put it at 13. So what we're going to do, we're going to add 13 inches here, and then we're going to subtract 13 inches here. Pretty basic math. So 29 and 15/16 minus 13, that's going to be 16 and 15/16. So we're going to measure, which I already know this mark is 29 and 15/16. So right off the end, since I know I'm subtracting off 13 inches, I can just do that quick math. That's 16 and 15/16. There's that one right there. Make a quick mark. And then for our third mark, or other outside mark, we can take 29, 15/16, add 13, which is going to be 42 and 15/16. Mark 3. Oh. Shout out Milwaukee for the good tape measures. So now, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, all 3 of our bend marks. So everyone has their own way of bending conduit and bending their 3 and 4 bend saddles, offsets, and so forth. I personally am a fan of bending all of my offsets, saddles, and so forth on this center mark. That's what I call this, the center notch. So what I'm going to do, our first bend is going to be at 22 degrees, middle bend 45, 22. So what we're going to do, and I guess I could also reverse it, doesn't really matter. I'm going to put that right there. Mark number 1 is on the center notch, and I'm going to air bend this to where the bottom of this conduit hits the top of this 22 degree mark. Pretty straightforward. Down. And it needs a little tiny bit more, so crack it down just a tiny bit. I could probably live with that, but take it a little more. That's pretty good for my house. What we're going to do, we're going to rotate it 180 degrees. Mark number 2, which is our center mark, which is 45 degrees. Same thing, right to the center mark. Kind of eyeball this to where it's straight. Hopefully not rolled at all. There we go. Same thing, we're going to bend this bottom of this conduit to our 45-degree mark right there. Maybe a tiny bit more. 45 looks good to me. And then last shaboozle, just like this. Center mark. And this outside mark is going to our 22 grid. So bottom of our conduit to 22. And not quite there. Pretty good right there, I would say. This is what you're going to kind of be looking at afterwards. So we're back. I know this looks not like you'd see in the field, but I only have one set of hands, and this isn't exactly what you would be doing in the field. This is just for a demonstration purpose only. But as we previously said, 29 inches is what, like I said, we don't have a connector in here. Let's assume this is where the connector would have been, which you can kind of tell that line right there, which I initially marked. So from the connector to the center of our mark, which as you can see, 29 inches is what we said all along, would be the center of our obstruction, which is this box. I have my boots there just to keep the pipe in place, but I'm going to take this off gently because that's going to kick it around. Bring that in, and we can slide this. So middle of the box, 29 inches. Slide that right in. And as you can tell, look down, pretty good to me. Center of our marks, almost right in the middle. It could be shifted a tiny bit. I'll take that just for a general demonstration video. You can make these as exact as you want. You can also cut things if needed. But there you go, a 3-bin saddle. So we had 22, 45, 22. It's really that straightforward. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. But hopefully you found this video informational, helpful. The way I do things may not be the way you're going to do things. It's just the way I was taught. So what works effective for me, it might not be effective to you. If you have any other pointers for people just learning, feel free to drop them in the comments. And as always, have a great day. Peace.